Ladies and gentledems, welcome back to another episode of the Jaking Off Show. I am broadcasting to you from an undisclosed location in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in a desert. I cannot specify my location because I am being held captive by a pack of wild dogs. I was almost mauled by a pack of wild dogs, what looked like a rated R version of Paw Patrol. Several dogs appeared from a corner, a fence. I don't know where they came from, and they surrounded my car. They hauled me out of my car, beat me nearly to death, and I am being held in a cage somewhere in a basement in the desert. Luckily, I have opposable thumbs, and I will be able to find my way out once I am done here. This is an audio-only episode, unfortunately, because I am in the process of moving, and I don't have my studio anymore. Everything I own is currently stuffed inside of my car right now. So I will not be having video along with the audio episodes. That's too bad, but this is a process. This is a new chapter in my life right now. See, I had been driving for about 12 hours so far from Oklahoma City to an undisclosed location somewhere in the desert where I have some relatives that I normally would have been able to crash on their couch, but unfortunately, as I said before, rated R Paw Patrol has decided to hold me hostage, and they are probably figuring out a ransom note for my release. They've taken my cell phone, they've taken my wallet and my ID, and they've taken my keys. So I'm stuck, and I don't know if I will make it to California, but we will prevail, and we will succeed. But these are harsh times. This is my Guantanamo Bay, and it's going to be all right. No, I'm kidding. I'm fine. I'm not being held captive by a pack of wild dogs. I was, however, almost mauled by a pack of wild dogs. Now, enough of the satire. Let's get to it. So I've been driving for several hours. I'm very tired. I can't feel my ass. I've been eating. I've been only stopping for gas and grub. Unfortunately, I had to succumb to the gas station burrito, which is not good for my ulcerative colitis. Not good at all. It was a bad time, but I had no choice. I had only stopped, I didn't even stop in towns. I stopped at gas stations by the highway in the middle of nowhere where there is little to no food to go around. But the gas station burrito will suffice for my hunger. I made it to my halfway point, and I'll be staying with some cousins in New Mexico for a day or two, but there seems to be a storm coming through, and if the weather's good, I'll leave the next day or the day after. I don't know yet. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. That's what a man says when he doesn't know where he's going in life. He'll just say he'll figure it out. Or what I say is that I'll just jump off that bridge when I get to it. But no, I was approached by a pack of wild dogs, and I got out of my car, and about 6 uncollared dogs came out of a corner somewhere. I don't know. I didn't see them. And they started to surround my car, and I was eerily calm and thought, oh, well, this is happening. And I got back in my car and waited for them to give up. They were barking and just scratching at the window and making all kinds of noise. Honked my horn, scared all but one dog off. One brave dog that was not feared of the horn, was not afraid of the horn. See, I can't talk. Braining is hard to do when making words go, especially when dealing with fucking trauma. Anyway, I get out of the car, and almost all the dogs go away. They come back around to bark at me, and I decided, oh, okay, this is the part where we fight. This is where I fight a pack of 6 dogs, fucking rated R Paw Patrol, the village people dogs, come and surround me, and I made myself as big as possible and started snarling like a cat, or hissing like a cat. My animal instincts kicked in, and I defended myself from these rabid canines. And they fucked off, luckily. I have a scary, weird, alone guy beard. They don't know what I got packing on me. They don't know that I secretly know jujitsu, and I could throw down on these animals should I choose. But they ran off, luckily, and I ended up, I got into my relative's house, and there was a lot of catching up that needed to be done. You see, I don't know many members of my family. Full disclosure, see, my mom is one of like 7 kids, and they all fucking spread out, and they live in New Mexico, they live in Oklahoma, they live in California, they live in Washington, they live in Colorado, there's one in New York, there's another one that's either, I don't know, dead or alive. We don't talk about that one. He's somewhere, like at a trailer park, I don't know. But I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to happen to have relatives living at the actual halfway point of this big drive. During this drive, it was very boring. Lots of staring at the road, but there was it was me and my thoughts, and some music, and there were no cars on the highway for several hours. Nobody's really driving towards California right now. It's kind of a bad place to be right now. Everyone's paranoid. Everyone is losing money. Everything is expensive. There's the smash and grabs are still going on. It's horrible, and I made the decision to go back home to bear the storm and get off my AWOL bullshit and return. But, we'll find out when we get there. But I'm driving, and my brain goes off and has an idea and goes, hey, let's go 110 miles an hour for X amount of time. Let's become a speed demon. Let's fly down the road at triple-digit speeds. No cops, no other cars. Let's fucking go. Let's really test this baby out. Look at all that open road and nothingness and sand and cacti and the occasional super truck or big ass 18-wheeler. I am whizzing by 18-wheelers at 110 miles an hour, making my 12-hour drive a 9-hour drive. I really wanted to get the fuck out of Oklahoma. It was driving me insane. Luckily, I left the day before a huge fucking blizzard. I just missed it. And I don't want to deal with that anymore. Last winter, I was not prepared at all. I don't have any winter clothes. I don't have an ice pick of any sort to pick the ice off the car. So if last year's blizzard was hell. It was hell. The power went out. I was stuck. My groceries had spoiled, and I had to bear the storm with the stuff in my pantry that did not require cooking. I'm not dealing with that again. I used to say that winter was my favorite time of year. But the thing is, I had never really experienced winter like that. I lived in New York for a little while, but the thing is, I wasn't paying bills in New York because I was in college. I was living in Oklahoma during my first real winter experience. See, Southern California does not get real winter. Sometimes there's wind and rain, but there's never really snow, or people are stuck inside of their homes due to weather, and businesses aren't closed because of, 5, 6, 7 inches of snow or whatever. That's not... I always said that because I grew up in California, lived there most of my life. I did not know what winter was. Now I know what winter is, and I realized, oh, fuck winter. No, I would rather starve and be warm than starve and be cold. At least you could go out and do stuff. Now, the counter argument with winter and summer is that, oh, summer, you can only take off so many clothes. Oh, it's easier to cool off in the heat than it is to... No, it's easier to warm up in the cold than it is to cool off in the heat. Oh, no. No, 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 no. I hate shaking and shivering. I have... my BMI is about 8%. I'm very skinny. I don't have the insulation that regular fat Americans have. See, fat people don't get cold. Fat people have extra insulation, and they can bear it. I cannot. I am skin and bones. I'm not prone to the cold like I used to. I was never really like fat or obese, but I had body fat on me at one point in my life, and I thrived in cold weather. I loved it. It was beautiful. It was tremendous. It was my favorite thing ever, but no more. No more. Winter is dead to me now, and now I will be living out the rest of my days in the sunny, expensive paradise, where it's very expensive to be poor. But fuck it, we're doing the next fucking chapter of my life. We're getting out of Oklahoma, and I'm in New Mexico now. I've spent a lot of quality time with my family, and I'm not the only one in my family that has autism. This was news to me. I have 2 cousins that are on the spectrum that are more severe than I am, and I had a nice ADHD autism talk with them. We had an autistic showdown. We outdid one another in our quirks. I have a cousin who he's older than me, and he's taller and stronger than me. He has the autistic superpower of super strength. He has the Forrest Gump endurance. He has the superpower of just unimaginable, uninhibited, tarred strength. He has it, and I'm so fucking jealous. But he has no filter, and he doesn't know how to control his volume when he talks. I have that problem, too. I've always been told when I was a kid, use your inside voice. He's very loud. He's very loud, and he's very strong. And it got to a point where when we were talking, we were catching up on each other's lives. And we reached a point where we just kept going back and forth on the Ermagerd meme. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Ermagerd meme. It's this picture on the internet of a young girl with braces, like headgear, fucking retainers or something, headgear. This chick is she just has this face on her, and the caption of the meme is, "Oh my God," but it's Ermagerd. It's a mispronunciation of the OMG acronym, and we kept naming movies and television shows and pronouncing them wrong. Like my favorite is instead of The Doors, the band The Doors, it was The Durs, and we just kept going back and forth on like the Rolling Sterns, the Howard Stern show, like just the fucking, we're just going off on our mental retardation, and we are laughing ourselves absolutely silly. The Autistic Showdown was really a spectacle to me, because that just showed me like, oh, it could have been so much worse for me. I could have been, you know, I could be a man in my 30s still living with my mom because I cannot be a functioning member of society. I can't get a relationship or have children. Well, now the thing is, my other cousin, on the other hand, she's a mother, and she's got an ADHD thing. Like, there were so many different topics going on at once, and we were able to not overstimulate ourselves and T-Rex flap arms ourselves into social Armageddon. But I was beginning to understand how I was beginning to understand just the different spectrums, just the different severities of autism, and that's starting to come out. I'm starting to become more comfortable with how I am and who I am, you know, quirks and all. I realize that I have a tendency to talk for the sake of talking and not really listening to people. And then since I was around others that have the same like issue as me, I was able to really step back and just observe and listen to how these autistic people communicate. But the thing is, I'm high functioning. I'm high functioning and I don't quite pass. I've talked about this before, but I just don't pass. My cousins, however, you look at them and you go, yeah, I get it. But with me, it's not so obvious. It's not until you get to know me later that you know, oh yeah, there's something off about this one. There's something slightly off about him. There's a, you know, one of them doesn't quite look at you in the eye when talking to you, and you know, one of them's got just an abhorrent amount of animal facts, you know, Star Trek stuff, Lord of the Rings stuff, like just, there's people that are into certain geekdoms. There are people that are just into shit, you know. Autistic people have a tendency to really hardline on the thing that they're interested in, and their brain really goes off when you get to talking to them about, let's say, Star Trek. My cousin has figurines of Star Trek, The Next Generations. I'm not as familiar with it, but I was happy that he's got interests, you know, he's got interests in stuff. Whereas if it's the opposite, you know, if he's not interested in a given topic, you know, then he's just not engaged. He's not with you. But you gotta be able to loop your conversation and have some sort of analogy to Star Trek. You have to be able to, you know, rope in references to Star Trek when talking to him, because he's just really into that shit. And you have to be patient with people on the spectrum that are more severe, because they'll just fucking go, man. If you're talking to him about stuff that he likes, prepare to have a 5-hour conversation or a 5-hour rant on why Star Trek is cool. I'm not a Trekkie. I don't, I'm aware of it. I know some things, but I'm not really delved into that realm. I'm just, that's not my thing. I went more into the Star Wars lane. That's kind of the thing that I know more about when it comes to, like, you know, science fiction and stuff. And I'm talking to a Trekkie, and I'm just trying to understand, and I am maintaining eye contact while I'm talking to him. I can do it. It's exhausting for me to maintain eye contact and look at people. I don't know, it's hard for me to explain, but I find myself, like, when I don't look at people, to them, that means I'm not paying attention. That means I'm not actively engaged with someone. The thing is, I am, but I'm just not looking at you. I'm either off in some other fucking world half paying attention, or I'm waiting for my turn to speak and not really listening and taking things in. That's my problem. I choose not to be around people for very long, because the more I'm aware of that, the more I'm under the perception that others are aware of that, and I'm just a weird alone guy, and I'm brooding with my fucking edgelordness, and I'd rather just be alone. People are exhausting, and I'm slowly just trying to come to terms with it so I can openly joke about it more. I want to talk about this. I want to bring this up. I had a really bad set a couple days ago. When I do comedy, I make a plan. What am I going to talk about on stage? What are we going to joke about this week? Or what are we going to make the giggles for? My plan was to openly talk about the autism and make the jokes, and, you know, I'm the skinny kid at fat camp. I'm not a member of the special forces. I play it up and cut the lines of the theme parks, all of those bits. I didn't go there at all. I decided to make a joke about George Floyd in a black room. Why did I do that? I don't know. This is what happens when I smoke weed before I go on stage. I come up with a plan to what I'm going to talk about on stage, and then that plan does not happen. I told a heinous joke about George Floyd, and it did not get the reaction I wanted it to. I did not read the room. I was not paying attention. I was not aware of my surroundings. See, that is an autism factor, is that I get very aloof on my environment. I don't really have a filter when I talk. I can't help but talk about race around black people, either because I'm ignorant, or I want to know things, or I just want to make jokes that are so inappropriate and so off color and so off that I just, like, let's just talk about the unvaccinated 800-pound gorilla in the room. Did a vaccine joke too. That didn't work. But here's the real problem with that show. The poster for that show didn't even have the word comedy in it. And I'm thinking about it now in hindsight, going, oh, this crowd didn't even know that there was comedy. Here's the poster. All right, here's the poster. Okay. I'll get to, like, the gist of it. The poster said, fucking comedy showcase with music, food, fun. Okay, music. All right. It's one of those hybrid shows, okay? There's some comedy and there's some musical guests, some rappers, some some poetry slam, it's kind of it's a hybrid show. There's a lot of different flavors, there's lots of different blends of people that are into different things, which I like. I think that's a good thing because that broadens the audience's perspective on, different flavors of comedy. I like that. I like having a musical break in between shows just to kind of vibe out a little bit, because when you're watching a comedy show, there's no talking during the show. People chit chat sometimes, and you don't do that while the comedian is on stage. With music, however, you can kind of get away with that more. You can, talk at your table while the musical guest is doing his thing. You can vibe, you can dance, you can do whatever. It's more free form with music. Now, and then it said food, okay? All right, there's food being served. I didn't see anybody order any food. There was just people ordering drinks. This was at like a sketchy hotel in the neighborhood area of OKC. There was pride flags, trans flags, bi flags. This was not a place that served food, and yet it had said food on it. And then it says fun. Now that's a vague concept. Fun. What is fun? Whatever, depends who you ask, right? It did not say comedy on the poster where it's a comedy show. So the people that went weren't expecting a comedy show. The crowd was not very engaged from the jump. The first comic just fucking bombed for 10 minutes straight. Not a single fucking laugh. Now, usually during shows, the host of the show holds up a little light to let you know when you have a minute left. There was a spotlight operator that did not know how to run a spotlight. It's an easy job. You stand there and point a light at the person on the stage. And the stage was kind of small. So you don't have to move it a whole lot. You just stationary and stick it there. And from what I was told, when you have a minute left, the filter switch on the spotlight there's multiple filter switches: green, yellow, and red. You pull the lever, you change the color of the light, and then you switch it back to let the talent know that they have 1 minute left. But instead of doing that, the fucking spotlight guy decides to dim and shut off the spotlight so you can't be seen for your last minute. And then the spotlight comes back up when your time's up. Who thought of that? I know it wasn't the host. The host kind of got the show last minute, and it was a little bit of a mad dash, but, why do you cut the spotlight? Because you know what that means? You know what that tells me? That tells me that you suck, get off the stage. Which most of us sucked that night. Most of us did. And it's not because, like, we were off our game or anything. The crowd was not vibing to us because it didn't say comedy on the poster for the show. Oh, my Lord. The promoters are so fucking stupid, man. There's like hype beasts. Fucking hype beasts that just say, like, you know what I'm saying? Every fucking other sentence. And it be like that. And there's like this there was like this false bravado confidence that just the show sucked. One of the musical guests didn't have his music on like the sound booth, and so he did his songs a cappella, like the Island Boys. Like, that's not music. The guy, the promoter, wanted us at the venue 3 hours before the show, and he let us, like, okay, be at the venue at 6:30. We got that message at 6:30. What are you doing? What are you doing? The lack of that just showed me immediately. I almost didn't do it. I almost didn't go to the show, but this was my last show in Oklahoma City, and it was a nice little send-off. I'm glad I got the invite, and thank you for that. You know who you are, and I'm glad I did it, but I almost didn't do it because of the lack of professionalism and the lack of organization. I do not fuck with people who don't know what they're fucking doing. I've done bad shows before. I've been in front of I've bombed many times, and you could blame it on so many different factors, but this was an overall bad experience. And I hope it's something to be learned. I hope it's a lesson to be learned for the promoter, because that was not good. And I felt bad about it because I told a bad joke that just didn't fucking work, and I left immediately. Because I thought, oh God, I'm going to get my ass kicked. I'm going to get followed to my car and get the shit beaten out of me. It was bad. And I didn't want to stick around for that. I felt really sheepish, and it was the night before I left. And I had to stuff everything in my car and leave and like sleep on the floor and collect my keys and all that. I had other things going on in my brain. I wanted out so badly because these last couple of months, I'd spent them just doing absolutely nothing because my mind was 1,000 miles away. And now that I'm actually on the move to do it now, I'm more motivated than ever to just get my shit together. I already booked a show. I hope I can make it by Monday, or if the storm goes away by then, because I have a gig on the 7th, and it's my first show back in the 818. I wanna get there on time, and I want to get there, and I have a reason to move forward, and I gotta prove these rednecks wrong, dude, because as you guys know, I got fucking banned at Bricktown, and maybe it's just my own fuck shit, but I don't think I was liked by some folks. Now I had friends and colleagues in the comedy community, the guests I've had on my show, I consider my friends. But there were others that, and this is just my own, like, opinion, I guess. I couldn't help but be under the impression that I was only liked because I'm from LA. I can't help but shake that feeling that I was only liked and respected because they have something to gain from me. They have a reason to come out here and do comedy and, like, have a rat race. But what they don't know is I can't help anyone. I can't even help myself. I have a bet going on with myself. Who's going to ask me about a spot in LA first? Who's gonna do it? Who's it gonna be? I don't know, but I have a feeling that that people only wanted to be around me because there was something to gain, and not because, to be my friend. And that's the thing, is that people get used all the time in this business. People get used all the time, and they only want to spend time with you unless there's a spot to be had, or stage time, or a podcast to be on, or a connection to be made somewhere by some booker or whatever. And I can't help but shake that feeling. But that's because of my own social paranoias, And, you know, I've been deceived many times before. I've been fucked over before. And I'm just conditioned to think that way. And that's my own cynicism. That's my fault. And it's probably not true, but that's how I felt, despite not having any real evidence on that. You know, it's a tightrope walk. You know, do you want to be around people to be friendly and be nice and build connections and network and all that? Or is like, you know, you don't, or is the secret ulterior motive to be someone's friends for the sole purpose to gain something? And as soon as there's nothing to gain, there's no reason to be around me or someone or whatever. Schmoozing. I'm so against that, and I've been called a purist. And I talked about that already on the last episode, but you know, I'm rambling. I'm rambling now. I'm just getting things off my chest. I'm going to be driving to LA for another 10 to 12 hours or so. Fingers crossed if I make it. We'll fucking see what happens. And you know what? And if I crash or whatever on the way, at least I tried. At least I tried. You know, it was. I had a good run. But you know, let's hope we make it to episode 100. Let's get there. There's a lot of moving pieces I gotta do. I gotta get a storage unit. I gotta find an address. I don't have an address. I don't have an address. I might live in my car, for all I know, but these are the sacrifices. I'm in it to win it or die trying. Anyway, that's number 99 of the Jaking Off Show. This has kind of been an everywhere and nowhere episode. There's a lot of stimulus going around. My brain's kind of like overstimulated. There's just a lot of people to talk to. I have family members that I have to get back to. You know, I gotta tell people that I made the trip. I gotta call my mom and tell her that I fucking, you know, didn't die on the way over here, because she knows it was like a 10-hour drive, but it's been like, you know, 16, 17 hours since, and she's probably wondering if I'm still alive or not. I have a lot of R&R to do with my extended family right now, and they know I have a show. They know I do this, and I don't want to feel like I'm just taking up their space and I'm just using them to crash on their couch, because I actually want to spend time with my family. There's a lot more to unpack there, but I can't get into it on this episode just because there's just so many things that I'm becoming aware of now, where I go, oh, okay, there's mental illness in the family, and everyone's a bag of trail mix with too many nuts in it. And I'm beginning to understand how I am, even though I've spent zero time with these family members, and yet there's quirks that we all have in common. Left-handedness is very common. Autism is very common. Is it genetic? I don't know. It's a big mystery, man. But I'm learning a whole lot about myself and how my brain operates, and I'm learning to accept that more. I'm learning to be more tolerant of myself and others that are more severe on this thing. I'm learning to be more patient, and I'm learning to just be more tactful in my movements. Anyway, that was episode 99. Be well, be safe, be warm. I know that some of you listening are suffering right now in the fucking cold. Shout out to the download to the download from Tokyo. I don't know who you are, but arigato gozaimasu. Ohio gozaimasu. Good afternoon and good night from my listener from Tokyo. Holy shit, didn't think I would get a download from Japan, but I did. And thanks, dude. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.